That's too bright. Let's play with lights. It's always this one. It's always this green color. Caramel. I think I live on caramel. And coffee. Caramel and coffee talks. Let's have some caramel and coffee talks. Should that be a new segment? Hi, I'm Marge. I'm Missy Blissy. Hey, okay, I'm back. I like clowning around. I've been stressed out for a while, so it wasn't so easy, but things are lightening up now and it's getting easier, and I have some stories to tell. First story I would like to tell. Where's my music? Where's my jams? I need my tunes. Production. Grip. Okay, let's see here. So I'm not in Omaha, Nebraska at Wheatfields. What I like to do is I'm an IT background person and that's evolved to a stay-at-home daughter. So in order to play with the algorithm, I'll play with stuff. And so I'll tell stories about places that I've been. And I have, in fact, been to Whitfields in Omaha. I lived in Omaha 15 years. 15 years I lived in Omaha. And I'm going to start, I grew up also with the programming, early childhood programming of the Twilight Zone and stuff like that. And my life has been the Twilight Zone. That's what they do, is everything's woo-woo, and then the experiencers, the people that actually experience these things, we end up in mental institutions, we end up in, on Hollywood screens, but nobody talks to us. They talk to the actors that play us. And so there's this woman that I used to know that made great pastry. She baked, because the more people put themselves into what they create, the more beautiful it is. And she was so funny. She's Sagittarius, born in Germany. Her name Amy Sweeney. And I talk about people that have passed on because their energy never dies and their influence stays on, and they might not even know it. So I talk about it here to help keep their memory alive. And her spirit was so vibrant. Where I knew her, I would greet people. And she'd walk in and she'd, like, all of a sudden, because everybody's bigger than me. I'm tiny. I'm a small woman. Hi, my name's Marge. I'm height impaired. But I'm clumsy as all get out because I'm so defiant I even defy gravity. So Amy Sweeney, rest in peace. The redheaded angel. And she blocked me some years ago. And it wasn't out of malicious. And I can totally understand why she blocked me, because I block people for the same reason, because it just hurts, because you're not living in the timeline that you have in your mind with this person, and you just got to block out because you're always going to think about how it could have been, and you got to focus on how it's actually going to be and live in reality. And so she died 2019, I believe. She was 51 years old, the age I am now. Soon to be 5'2". One day I'm going to be my height. So, when I got word that she died, it puts a ripple out. Things happen and it puts ripples in time. And forever you are reminded of your time with this person. Anyway, so focus, Margie. We got more stuff to talk about. So, because of technology and how AI and IT and all of that encompassing incestual, gross swampage of an environment, convoluted place is set up, I came across an old conversation that she and I had in Facebook Messenger about her astrology and stuff like that. And I was looking at her chart, and then so I got to see it again, because I mean, I've moved in 3 states since this conversation, so it's hard for me to keep track of everything. But the computer processor's slowing down a little bit. And so I went back and found this conversation, and she's talking about, I said, I don't think you meant to hurt yourself. And she said, no, I didn't. And I don't even remember having this conversation with her. And she's like, what are you talking about? I said, I don't think you meant to hurt you. She's like, no, I didn't. And so it sent me on a trajectory of truth seeking. And I looked up for her obituary, and there's no really obituary. It says like the day she died, the time she died. You know what the funniest thing she ever did? Like, when I picture her in the no place space, there's a picture of her that she's dressed up like Princess Leia, and she actually had cinnamon rolls in her buns. And she's Sagittarius, And the funny thing is her birthday was what is, because her energy never dies, But it started on this earth. Her Earth Day was 1969, September 12th. And that's the day after my grandma's birthday. So Sagittarius. So that's why I was like, she felt nice. She felt nice because she felt like my grandma, like same energy, same, And she liked to bake like grandma did and all this stuff. And like familiarity is what it is. Comfort. And so I found a phone number in a comment that her cousin had written. Because I kept thinking about her. This was like a couple days ago. What day is today? So this was 2 days ago. Like, her energy was with me. And she's guiding me down this trajectory. So I'm going down this trajectory, and I'm like, okay, Amy, okay. All right, I hear you. I'm going to call. So I call her cousin, and I'm like, man, this stuff is so, like, the way I'm received ain't good anyway, so whatever. Just do you, boo, Marge. Do you, boo, Marge. Marge, boo, whatever. And so I call this lady in Nebraska, and I'm like, yeah, my name's Marge. If you're a cousin of Amy, Sweeney, call me back. If you're not, be well, have a rad day, peace. And she's like, and so some hours later, I get a phone call. And I get up, and I go to the other room, and I'm like, hi. Yeah, just wait, it gets better. And so, thanks for letting me know what you are. That cracks me up. So anyway, so she, the lady, God, this light's bright. So she calls me back, and I say, listen, Amy's been in my energy all day. I'm a psychic intuitive. I said, I just want you to know that she didn't mean to do it. That she feels like a big silly, and she didn't mean to do it. Like, she drank too much. It was a combination of that. They changed her meds. She's an energetic sensitive. She had a bad transit. It opened her up to everything, and she just went with it, and she wasn't grounded enough on this earth to stay. And then whenever you're out and you're in the woods, and it's like weird, like, why do I smell cinnamon rolls? Just know that is your cousin Amy with you. And she's like, her brothers are Marines. I said I would never think to contact her brothers. I know that. And then all day yesterday, or the day before, same day, I was in the energy of the monks. The monks, monkey see, monkey do. Because all these other pieces, they're raging. They're raging. What I see is the world is raging, so they're in the streets and they're fighting. And then the monks. I got to hang out with those homeboys for a while. Not maybe them, but like they're from the same group. They wear the same garb. They have the same practices, the same disciplines, the same principles, the same energy. And these dudes, they're just walking. They're just walking, handing out flowers, getting flowers, handing out flowers. And there's this song that came up. When I hear it, when like for the TikToks, like it's the same song over and over, and I was like, man, this song's beautiful. What's this song? So I go to, my music place. I don't have Spotify or nothing like that. But I go to, let's see, library. And there's this song called Walk for Peace. So I'm listening to this song and I'm hanging out with Amy and I'm calling her cousin and I'm doing all this stuff. And then I finally, or later in the evening when I finally download the song and I look it up. And when I look it up, I look up like the about part of it. And it has the date that it was made. And it was made just last year, 2025, and the date of it was December 12th. That's Amy's birthday. So I see how things are lining up, and it's really cool because this country, like I am, it's so tired of fighting. It's just gotta surrender. And every time I see people out in the street and they're meeting these monks and they're relenting, and it's such a cool thing. It's such a cool thing. So, I did a post yesterday. I find out stuff all the time. I've lived such a miraculous life, but other people that have lived ordinary lives, they can't recognize my life in all of its wonder. They just can't. Like, I can't even recognize the things I've done. They talk about Operation Looking Glass. Have you heard people talk about that? Have you heard people talk about the Doomsday Plane? Have you heard people talk about that? Huh? Anybody hear people talk about? It's down there in Offutt. It's right out there in Offutt Air Force Base. It's right out there, Offutt Air Force Base. Yeah. So I'm like scrolling, I'm like looking stuff up, because that's what I do, is I make sure Mom's comfortable, all of her needs are met and everything, and then I entertain myself with hobbies and stuff. So I use my energy wisely instead of, getting mad and doing something stupid like wrecking my car or driving it into groups of people. Or heck, even in Omaha they had that. I remember going past that Bon Mar shooting. That was just like the pop off the can. Like, once people can see what other people can do, they're like, monkey see, monkey do. It's always been like that. The humans are terribly, terribly impressionable. And what they do with their free will, quite frankly, is just bizarre to me. Could be creating heaven on earth. No, but let's gather in rooms and robes and practice weird stuff. Anyway, so I was looking at Operation Looking Glass last night. Just new to you, because when I was in the Air Force, I was nobody important. I was just flight line support. I was a mechanic. I just turned wrenches. I just did my scheduled and non-scheduled maintenance. Performed that, and performed it so good that they give me little plaques and little buttons and say you're a good little airman and all this stuff. And when you do good, then you get the good, the good gig, so to speak, because Washington and D.C. and Hollywood are the same budgets. They're the same thing. They're both to get everybody else to believe in a contrived reality, and I'm about to break down with that contrived how they do that. See, there's a buddy of mine. We used to go out, and I knew him from outside of work, and then he'd tell me about like what he did, because I was like, I'm on the flight line, I'm everywhere. And he's like, I'm on the flight line too. He's like, come up and say hi sometime. And I said, okay, I'll do that. So the plane, the mission that he worked on, it didn't, I don't think it exists anymore, because on the internet it doesn't say it exists anymore. I'm pretty sure it still exists. They just stopped saying that it exists, because that's part of their rule book, to say that we exist and then act like we don't. It's the bait and switch. It's the dip and groove. Anyway, so I see the tail, the number on the tail wing one day on the plane that my buddy said, when you see this, come up and say hi, because I'm on board. And I was like, all right, cool. So I go up into this plane, and I'm like, wow, this is cool. This is hella dope. And he's like telling me about it, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, that's cool, because when I get overstimulated, either information lands hard and I'm just taking, or I'm just like off. And I couldn't stay a long time. And I didn't have the clearance to be on that plane. That was a top secret clearance, and I had secret, but I didn't have top secret. But see, that's what the military is about. It doesn't matter what words are said or what the paper says as far as the rule, the regulation, the policy, the procedure. What matters is what the men want to do. And my buddy invited me up in a place, and I got to go there. And so yesterday, I'm looking up Operation Looking Glass. And I look at this picture, I see this picture, and I was like, oh my goodness. I know that part. I've been there. I've been on that plane. It looks more like this now. It's basically it is so funny how all the world is a stage. It's basically the mobile command center is what it is. National security is an oxymoron. Okay, so let's go down this trajectory, okay? So you have Looking Glass, Operation Looking Glass. What is Operation Looking Glass? Let's read a little bit about what it actually is. And I will put my interpretation onto it based on what I know of all the logistics from the maintenance standpoint, because I've always been support staff. So in restaurants, I was the busser. You know, like we set up the stage before the show of putting on quality food and caring about people for, you know, profits galore to get people to believe something. That right? So Looking Glass, or Operation Looking Glass, is the historic code name for an airborne command and control center. This is just on Wikipedia. This is no OPSEC or there is no national security. It's freaking, it's an oxymoron. Military intelligence, it's an oxymoron. It's all men that couldn't cut it in fields that they wanted to excel, so they went the egghead way. And the same, they're getting the power. The power is the same, the influence. So, let's go back. History. Codename Looking Glass, from the craft's ability to mirror the command and control functions of the underground command post. I was down there too. They have all the airmen go down there when they show up at Offutt. You get to go down and shoot where all the decisions are made. Air Force Strategic Command headquarters at Offutt Air Force Base, Nebraska. Okay, where is it? Fast forward. I don't want to read the 60s. The EC-135 Looking Glass aircraft were were airborne 24/7 a day over for 29 days until July 24th, 1990, when the glass ceased to continuous airborne alert and remained on ground or alert for 24 hours a day. See, that's okay. The Looking Glass mission mirrors ground-based command control and communication. C3 located at Global Operations GOC at Offutt Air Force Base. The EC-135, which I supported, Looking Glass aircraft were equipped with airborne launch control systems capable of transmitting launch commands. I don't even believe the bombs exist, okay? I think they just had people sitting out. What do you think? You think they're just out there sitting there guarding empty holes? Why, yes, as a matter of fact that I do. And then they get pensions for it, and then they go back and work. It's all whoever's going to keep up the illusion. Absolutely. Because I had to deal with SPs. They're the second lowest test score in the military entrance exam. Above wiping down gym equipment, yet give them guns, tell them they can do whatever they want, they can never get in trouble, and then watch what they'll do with that. They don't use it to support the good all the time. So let's skip down to what my time in the Air Force. My time was 2000. The Operation Iraqi bullshit era. Here we go. Here's my era of my time at Offutt Air Force Base. If the U.S. STRATCOM Global Operations GOC is unable to function its role, the E-6B Looking for Glass can assume command of all U.S. nuclear-capable forces flying abroad, and each ABNCP is a crew of 22. So my buddy was one of them crew of 22, which includes air crew, a communication system officer team, and an airborne emergency officer, an admiral or a general, mission commander, a strike advisor, or an admiral launch control. See, they let it go over the Navy because Navy has their spots on the runway over there too. There was some speculation that the mystery plane seen flying over the White House on September 11th was a new incarnation of the Looking Glass. However, the plane was an E-4, which they're all home based at Offutt, like where I was, but who am I? Just the witnesser of history, for shit's sake. I flipped off George Bush on 9/11. It was on Crete when we bobbed. I mean, like, it's all let's show America what big, strong and it cracks me up. Biff got heckled. Somebody called him a protector. I think that's funny. I think that's very funny. Anyway, I got to meet a lot of cool people when I was at Offutt. There are a lot of good people in these. It's just that the nasty and the nefarious and the disingenuous have gotten to a level of audacity, essentially, that people, they're just going around doing whatever they want, because look, nobody's stopping them because they're just in shock. And I'm like, hey, you're an asshole. Hey, you suck. Hey, I'm less like that because I'm in such a good mood. I finally found a shop that the old girl Rosie's gonna get taken care of, and the guy, to be around professionals, like, I told the lady that gave me a massage lady, I'm like, I don't need a lot in life. I need a place where I can have work done on my car, that I'm not going to get ripped off on the top. Because you know why it's so frustrating? Because I have to relent. I have to let go of all that is with the fact that I am capable of doing these things myself. I am not physically capable where I live of doing these things. That's why I want to make a place where people that like me and travelers that don't have an address, they can come and work on their cars, that aren't so able-bodied, but they have all the tools and everything that they need to do that. So I found a good shop, and then like because my car was in the shop, the lady that my body mechanic, she came all the way across town to pick me up and then brought me home after that. And so I was so grateful for that. I was telling her on the way, I said, I don't require a lot in life. I'm very self sufficient. I'm trying to be less. I'm trying to rely on others more. I really am. I have for years. I just been scattered, so whatever. So, I said I needed a body mechanic and a car mechanic, and I said I think I have both of those. I said if I'm not careful, I might fall in love with Taos because that's where I live in New Mexico. I'm not in Omaha at the bakery, in case you don't know. I told the story earlier in case you missed it. Anyway, but my time spent in Omaha, I got to walk with giants, and I'm going to talk a little bit about a giant right now. I'm getting the calling. I've had this thing. This dude gave me this thing. This guy that I went to high school with gave me this thing, okay? So back in like, I was 19, 20 years old. Sean and Sherry Perry. Troy was Sean's roommate. Gay guy. Rocker. Metalhead. You know? So it's like, I grew up not like determining who people are based on how they look because they tricked me all the time. So what I do is I go by energy and how they feel. If I feel good around them, you know, if I'm a better person when I'm around them, I'm gonna try and be around them again and learn and exchange and stuff and have a good time and stuff like that. Anyway, this guy was a musician, and he let we were at a drinking partying one night, and he was feeling good and generous. And I told him how I said when I was a little girl I always wanted to play, you know. And he's like, "Here, take it with you." I was like, "Right on, cool." So I've taken this thing with me. I'm 51 now, so how many years is that? 30 something years. And I've taken good care of it. Like, well, back when I was in recovery and stuff, and went to, you know, I was a lot more, we'll say, community oriented and social. There was a guy in my group that played the trumpet, and I was in the military and he was in the Air Force. And I'm out there turning wrenchers, like dodging tow bars and ice, and you know, trying not to die from electrocution and all this stuff that's dangerous. Getting sucked into engines, yeah, thank goodness, you know, all this stuff. Not getting shot by the Navy guys, because if you go past this line even a little bit, they're just dying. They're ebbing to light you up and face down head. It happened to Quackenbush. She had to do it. I never did. But she did. She got. There's a couple people that it happened to. They put you down. It's their policy and procedure. Anyway, so this guy that I knew, his job was to play the trumpet for the U.S. Air Force, and so that was his job. He got to like like Bing Cosby, you know, like he would be with the band. You know, it's just who gets the golden ticket, who gets the good gig, right? So I was looking up Astro stuff. I gotta go back. So this was a post from February 1st, 2019. Air Force musicians. He was in the SAC band. So this Max played the trumpet for the SAC members. Not sure what year, but this was my buddy Max. He played, and now I don't know if he's still around or not. You know, he was always so Max. He was funny. He's like, I told him, you know, because he played the trumpet, so I experienced my experience that I have this trumpet. He's like, well, bring it to me. Let me take a look at it. Right? And I was like, all right, cool. So I bring it to him, and he brings it back to me, and it's all spiffed up. Now, this was back in, how long ago was this? Oh, snap. There's no date on it. It has a date nomenclature, but he doesn't have a date. He didn't write the date on it. Trumpet, it's a hollow Colby, and it has the serial number on it. And then the service needs to perform dings, bell. I don't know the lingo. Oil, clean and oil, something, cork, screw. Maybe I said, do whatever you gotta do to make it nice. So the date he completed was the 10th of June 2013. So he did write the date. I stand corrected. That's so funny. He wrote it. Okay, so he wrote the date completed, not the date he brought in. That's fine. So that incidentally was, I got sober on the 10th of June. So that was my 11th year sobriety anniversary. So he brought, because everybody's doing everybody favors in AA, because I was always doing people favors, because that's what you do to stay sober. You help people. You help people. Churches say it. Religions say it. Like, if you want to stay in good standing, you got to give your good standing to other people. And they keep telling me to do it while I'm doing it, but then they're sitting around while I'm doing all the work in all these areas. And so I started picking up on this stuff. So anyway, homeboy, I thought he was doing me a favor, bring it in. I didn't know, like, he's like, bring it in. I thought he was going to take it home and, like, as a high side gig, like, as, a charitable. No, homeboy shows up with the receipt. We didn't agree to payment or, like, like what, or anything like, he just said, bring it. I did. And then I'm paying for his pizza. People are tricky. He's a good dude, So anyway, I think I just joined a group here in Taos, and I'm gonna try and find a trumpet teacher, because I want to join people without joining people, if you get me. I'm pretty sure that's why so many kids join band and they play instruments, because it's the frequency. I don't want to blow it because mom's still sleeping, but I can blow this. I haven't been able to play it. I used to try, and then my beagle and my bassets would lose. It was too much for them. And so I just put it down, and I just didn't pick it up. And now, since they all went to heaven, I feel compelled. And I can just go off into the freaking woods someplace. Out New Mexico. Like, I could play, like, by the time they figured out where it was coming from, I'd be done with my lesson to myself. I want someone, so I'm throwing it out to a local group in Taos, where I live, and ask where, if somebody around knows how to play this thing, and they can teach me how to do it. Because that's just another way I can get my sadness out, my happiness. Like, that's how I can add to the world with, not creating another fun environment. Just trying to make my way in this crazy mixed up planet like everybody else. Anyway, I'm really digging all the people coming out to say hey to the monks. They're almost there. See, I've been tracking them since October when they first started. There was just this little, like, oh, the monks, they were on my radar, because I got to hang out with them back in 2011 when I worked. I was like, when you walked up, if you went to Creighton University between 2010 and like 2000 or 2000, yeah, 10 and 11, somewhere around, because I worked in radiology department first, and then I went over to the university side. I didn't get in through HR either. I got in through Ray Kopp. He was like the manager, prior military, and so he recognized on my recognized how I would, bust ass in his department because he could tell how I busted ass all over the Air Force and every other job I had. And so he hired me, and then I interviewed for positions, but I was already in. But the hospital side and the university side, even though it was the medical hospital, they were still separate entities. And then I worked at what they call themselves Do It, the Department of IT, and they would giggle like they were 15-year-old boys. Dumbest stuff I ever saw. Cushest job I ever quit was that place. Best job I ever quit. I was like, I can't do it. I can't be a part of this. And then years later I found out about the Jesuits, and I was like, oh, okay, that's why I can't do it. I'm not a creep, and like attracts like. So that's how I got my dogs from working in that department, because of Reva. She recommended the Basset Beagle Rescue of the Heartland, and it's so weird how funny how life works. Anyway, so if you went there anytime from 2010, 9-ish, to the student service desk, right across from the library, right next to that big Tatarian cathedral, right next to where you roll under the vent, and that's where you access all the underground tunnels. Right in there is where how you get in. If you roll on your back, it takes, there's like that people think it's a bench. They think it's a bench, so they eat it's a nice day, they sit on it. They eat their sandwiches, their burritos, whatever. No, it's not. It's an access point. If you lay down, you can roll under, and that is how you get into the, yep. I'm not making this stuff, go. Yeah, no, you gotta be a student. You can't just be walking around universities. You gotta have a reason. But I love going in the library because I just feel like I'm soaking up information from the no play space. So anyway, when I started there, we had freshmen. So basically we were the geek squad for Creighton University. And so you walked up, and I was the first person that would greet you, and then based on what I would expedite based on your needs, if it's a quick fix, I'll help you right here. If it's something more like you broke your stuff because you got mad and threw it down steps, and now your laptop's all mangled, or you ran over it, or because I've seen all the things that people do with their stuff, and it's just so weird. So then you got to submit a ticket to Lenovo, and we got to set you up down here and all this stuff. So I'm the first point of contact. People would come up to my window more often than not. First question I ask, when is the last time you turned your computer off and then turned it back on again? As soon as the instant they hesitate and they stop and they do that thing where they look up and they have to think, that tells me they can't remember. And I say to them, the same person in different soul sacks, the same version of the same mentality in different human beings. Like I'm having the same conversation with different faces. I'm saying to them, how would you perform? How would you function if you were awake 24 hours a day, all the days of the week, all the days of the made-up year? Would you be sleepy? Would you drag? Would you be sluggish? Would you be on top of it all the time? Would you be able to go from this window and this thought back, so why, if you can't do that, why would you expect this little gadget to be able to withstand all the pressures of everything you require it to do? You go ahead and you close all those windows and save all those things that you've been hanging on to for the last 6 months or however long it's been since, you had to force restart. And then once you do the basic minimum, the littlest, ittiest, bittiest part that you can do, then you can come back up to this window, and then we'll see if there's a problem beyond that needs to be even address, because chances are it's going to be rectified with just that little restart. But that's why I got out of IT. Now I make stickers and I give them to people. Straight people like rainbows too, and magnets. So if you come to Taos, I'll probably give you one. If you walk around town, I'm trying to create a thing, hashtag straight people like rainbows too. Basically, it's a cheeky messing of inclusion because it's an idea that I came up with when I was a 10-year-old little girl. And I drew this picture because I heard on the radio they were talking about in San Francisco how all the gays started using the rainbow flag. And I was like, hey, wait a minute. Nobody gets the rainbow. You can't just say you're this so you get that. That's not, no, the rainbow's for everybody. And then many years later, found that I'm Native American. So in my mind, that's the color wheel. That we're all shades of the same color. What matters is what we create with how our heart beats every day. Are we going to create destruction and perversion and nastiness, or are we going to plant flowers? I got some packets of seeds. I think I'm just going to go out, just throw them along the roadway and stuff. I've been talking about it a couple of years. Might as well do it. But now I'm getting the bourbon sorted away. You know, it's scary to freaking not have faith in your vessel. To wonder if it's going to get you home safely. Because I put more faith in people, but if people don't have God, that good orderly direction frequency that they're tuned into, then they're just going to... Dude, I got charged $3,000 for a tune-up that was half-assed done 3 years ago. They shouldn't have charged me for the tune-up if 3 years ago they replaced the spark plug wires and not the spark plugs. Like, I'm going to take culpable responsibility because I thought it was like an oversight. Like I didn't like it was my fault that I didn't put that together. And then based on their history, they're scam artists, or they don't know what they're doing and they don't want to cut people slack and give the customer the break because they don't have their operation together. Because Juan's like, it is so nice. Like, when I went and picked up my car, basically what they did is they let it sit on a back lot because I'm not important. I'm insignificant to them. They don't care. It's like, they already got me. See, that's why the devil doesn't go out. That's why people always get whatever they want, because they're already gotten. Their soul's already compromised. They already sold their soul. It's the people that haven't, so they want to get you. They want to get you to do that thing that's going to come out of your character. I've had demons. I've done this to people. I don't want to be like that anymore. I want to be lighter. I want to be, more jovial. I want to bring more, I'll bring tough love though. So there's a difference. So oftentimes I'm bringing tough love and people think that Leo Cub dude did that. He thinks I'm a crazy dude. And I'm just like, dude, I see all the potential, all the good stuff you're going to do. He's headed on this trajectory of constant stimuli. And I don't hear dudes like him talk about how they meditate. Tinkering, maybe that's how he meditates. He tinkers, But if you don't, I was thinking about when we were growing up, mom had to budget our food or our money so much because we had so little of it, because my dad was such a Freemason jerk. They're living the lap of luxury because they wanted to make mom suffer. Because suffering stimulates the economy. And so she would put money away into envelopes to budget. She would put money away, because she had to pay her attorney that represented her. I mean, they drug her out a 5-year-long custody suit just because they could. And that's what the legal system is. And instead of my brother seeing with him, he became part of the system. Because that's what people do. It's like either you beat them or you join them. And I wouldn't join them. I joined the military to go to college because I knew I was going to have to take care of mom. So I joined the military for a reason that was outside of myself. Or maybe it's not. Because I don't know if I'm going to get old. So maybe taking care of mom so good is how, like, if I get my life gets cut short in some capacity, that I got to help mom grow old because I didn't get that opportunity, you know. It's all kinds of possibilities. So mom used to put money away, and I was thinking about it yesterday, and I've had like I've had my life mentors, we'll call them, where like I wasn't bad with money by the time I got to AA. Because mom was my mom. But there's people that go in, they spend all their money at the casino in Council Bluffs, don't pay rent. Like there's people that got it way worse than me. And one lady that I knew that she would tell people, you know, she would give them the assignment to put like $5 away every week in an envelope and not touch it. And I was thinking about that yesterday, about how people don't hold any of themselves back. People are so, because of technology, CMEs, astrology, weather, all climates, economic, I mean everything encompassing, people are so pressurized. They're up, down, up, down, up, down. They're doing things to relieve the pressure that are creating more pressure within their system. So like you eat too much McDonald's, it clogs your heart, then you have heart attacks. So you have all these people that are just going around full throttle, doing whatever they want. They never meditate. They never check out. They never put anything in the envelope. So they never have that discipline, that restraint to hold themselves back. And to me, that holding yourself back, even if it's just a little bit, that's God. That's good orderly direction. That's doing what, you know, I can do whatever, but just over here do the right thing. That's why, like, all night I meditate. I set time attention to be quiet and unplug from my own thoughts, and plugging into a greater source is going to guide me and direct me to be of service to all living beings, even if I don't like them. Because it don't matter if I like people or not. It matters how I treat people. I heard the other day, you know, like waving at people. I know people, they wave at people. And for a long time, I had the attitude that, you know, I just get tired of being denied, like, you know, you wave and then people ignore you. They just ignore you. They just, you know, and somebody said, like, just let them, because then they're telling you you're not of the same frequency. And then I don't like this song anymore. It's not about how people receive you. It's how you put yourself out there. So it's not about, if you wave and you're friendly, you're waving because you're friendly and you're excited, you know. And you'll see other people that are excited and friendly. You're gonna be warmly received, and they will receive you, and you will receive each other. And maybe have a cup of coffee and tell stories and laugh, and then be on your way. And if ever you disagree, that's fine. Like that book. Do you like my hat? Go dog go. Do you like my hat? No, I do not like your hat. All right, that's cool. Have a good day, dude. Yeah, rad. You too. You know? There's so much. People feel some kind of way inside, some kind of vibrational frequency. And they don't know how to restrain that because they're so used to doing whatever they want to do. So they don't have a place where the tithings hold back, so you have some for later. That's what putting your money in a basket is too. Is like you put it, like, hold these seeds, and then next season you'll have seeds to plant. They didn't do that. The controllers, the butt bandits, they all, the nefarious, the creepy pervs and all, just the nasty of the world, they all changed their trajectory, while all these good people are still like being good, because we're just gonna hope and pray that people are gonna change their hearts magically. And what's happening is essentially is they're just dying off. And then all these sweet, young, new, energetic beings are being vesseled into their soul sacks on planet Earth, and they don't like the boom booms. They don't like the boom booms. They don't like the fireworks. They don't like the loud. They don't like the, not like that. They like the music because it helps them move and dance. So I'm happy to see all that war crap end. And as far as like the trajectory of how things are going, I see it like this. There's always a potential for two worlds. There's the potential for the world if I'm angry and I go out in the world angry and I show up angry, the world that I will get when I'm angry. Or if I can be like the monks and monkey see, monkey do, and show up with peace in my heart, hopefully show up, I'll project that and reflect that in others, and I'll receive that. Unfortunately, with my birth chart, that's not always the case. And when people see me, a strong woman that can control myself, they try to throw you off kilter. And I dare say there haven't been times where I've fucking let's go off kilter. And then that's the last time they ever do that. Hopefully to anybody. So there's people that have set me straight. That's what we're to do. Think about all the people that have passed on and transitioned now in the last 5 years. All ages. Like on my social media, people that have lost somebody is so near and dear to them, right? And then I think about all the energy of how they died. Like, where they died under duress, or did they die in a peaceful state? And when I come across energies that they died in a duressive state and not a peaceful state, I want to help the family set their spirit so it can decalibrate, be at peace, and not be stuck in an energetic loop. Because you have all these people that have passed on in traumatic ways from COVID and alone and all these ways that they're just, and it puts a vibrational frequency when they take their last breath. All these people collectively took their last breath in terror. We live in a collective atmosphere where everybody's scared, so they're making decisions based on their fear. But now the monks are walking to calibrate, to help people find their center, to sit there, wait and get quiet and listen to just like the barefoot on the like get present. And that is what is happening now, and I'm so happy to see it, because I've been talking about it for so darn long. God, I feel like a broken record, just like, because I had to learn to get at peace. I had to learn to find peace in me. And I did the most I ever raged was the last year before my boys died. Because I couldn't express my fear around them because they'd pick up on it, and that just shortens their life, because stress does that. So I'd keep it together at home, and I'd go out and I'd act like a fool. So now I have to live a fucking living amends, which I hate doing, in Taos. So how I'm going to do that is I'm going to walk around town, and I'm going to leave these stickers for people, and I'm going to ask them to wherever they find them, like wherever they put them, if it's on a water jug or, your car or whatever, take a picture and just do hashtag straight people like rainbows too. Because my placements, I have a lot of anger inside because I did stuff to go along and get along, and then the stuff I participated, in our like, what was I supposed to do? I was on Crete. Like, what I was flight line support. Like, just say I don't want to do it? Because I guess I could have. But I knew I had to take care of Mom. So I had to sacrifice my morals of thou shalt not kill. And then they made me a part of people dying. Because I know a guy. And he's from that region. So I know that people actually died. It wasn't just something I saw in the news. I was a part of it. I'm sorry for my service. And people mock me and make fun of me for that. And you hate this country, and it's like, no, I love this land. I've been all over this land. I've driven everywhere. I got to see whales. I got to whale watch in the moonlight at Patrick's Point. I got to fly over in a fog when the fog was rolling in Santa Cruz, like the vampires did in the Lost Boys. I was on the Today Show. They panned across me, and I got to call Mom on my cell phone in California. It was 4:30 for her, and say, "Mom, camera's gonna go by. You can see me." And when it by, I got to say, "Hi, Mom." After waking up every morning to freaking Wilford Brimley and the freaking 100-year century club. Like, we just live in a computer. So I'm gonna go back onto the about what Looking Glass is, okay? Basically, once they did 9/11 and cell phones started, that opened them up to survey the whole United States and eavesdrop on the whole United States, essentially. So basically, the RC one, the ones that I supported, they would take off in the morning, fly out to one of the coasts, West Coast, East Coast, Southern Coast, and they would listen to people's conversations, whoever they feel like, under the guise of national security. And if they didn't like what they had to say, under the Patriot Act, they would throw them away, and you'd never hear from them again. Because they're trying to create a storyline where people fall in line. And when people go out of sight of their narrative, they are looked at as a threat to the people with the power's ideology. That's why Looking Glass, think of it like a mirror. Like, if you pick up a mirror and you drop a mirror and it shatters into 1,000 people, or shatters into 1,000, if they do that with people's mentality. Okay, they shatter the identity, and then you can make them act however you want. Because they don't have free will, because they serve a power that they're willing to do anything for. And I'm not anymore. I won't. There's things that I won't do. And so think of a mirror when you shatter it and it breaks. And you have all of these pieces. You have this piece over it. Well, that's what the military does. They have their ultimate goal, but they tell this group this part of it. And then they tell this. Maintenance don't care about the Zion agenda. We're crabby old mechanics, just changing oil and just get through another day, eat some brats on Friday, have a 3-day weekend, drink too much. I mean, that's what maintenance is. So, but see, the way my mind works is I took this piece and I took this piece and I took this piece and I put it all together. So I started putting pieces of the shards of glass from the mirror together to create a picture of what the United States is, divided states of America actually is. And my history reflects I'm a creditable source. Because whenever I go out in the world and I act out, I have to make the decision, is you acting out, is that worth the risk of discrediting your creditable source that you've tried to earn for 51 years? Like when all they say you're over emotional, you're too emotional, you know, like emotional control, you don't have it. Like that's what's going on in the world. Look at the world. They haven't there's no place people have held themselves back. So people are all gas, no brakes, because they don't know what to do with the vibrational frequency of stillness. And if they reach stillness, they don't like what they hear. They don't like what they get. They don't want to do the disciplines of what they're told when they get still. And that's fine. I didn't want to either. How long it took me? I had to practice meditation for a long time. And then I got good at it. And then I got too good at it. And then I had to like kind of dial it back a little bit because I have so much air and water, no earth, that, you know, I don't live on the same planet as everybody else anyway. I might as well just, you know, stay out there. Because we create reality with our mind. So if I'm always in my mind, I'm creating a reality, because I try to work with other people and they don't want to work with me because all they see is a 2 out of 10. Because they're telling me they're 2 of 10. And I am not. I far exceed that. So, I think I'm going to start playing the trumpet. Had that on the list of my jack of all tirades. It was funny. I did a post on Twitter yesterday. And this was my post on Twitter. Avicii, hope you're resting peacefully, dude. Let's see. X. Mine. Profile. And I put on the link Operation Looking Glass from Wikipedia. And this is what I wrote. I am not a big fan of history. For those of you that are, this is where I spent my time as flight line support between 01 and 06. How cool is that? I mean, that's a cool thing, isn't it? That's like part of history, and all these people are a part of history, and I'm like, I'm too busy outside. I'm too busy playing. I don't want to read about times that other people lived. That's boring. That's not fun. I failed history. That's dumb. It made me have to do summer school. I don't want to do that. So these are the people that I tagged on that video, okay? I tagged Jessie Zaboter, which she's a nice lady. Mom wore her head thing all day yesterday. Her organization sent us a box. Had a couple of Afghans in it. There's Mom's right there. Thanks, Jessie Zaboter, for that letting me flash in your pan in that time. Heidi Vandenberg. I watched her videos like 8 years ago. But I could feel like I try not to go in people's energy too much, but like the rule is if they're thinking about me, I can think about them. And we used to cross paths before. And then, Robert Phoenix, the astrologer, he and I have exchanged IMs. I sent him my resume. He said, "That's quite impressive, Margie." Well, yes, it is. You have no idea because you're a Virgo and I'm an Aries and you don't see us. Okay. And then I tagged the Leo Cub because he sicked AI on me. So we've had a personal exchange. So and then the last 3 I haven't had personal exchanges with US Mini True, XX17, blah, 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 and Albuquerque Raw, ABQ Raw. But still, 14 people watched that. Did I get 1 little ounce of love? Did I get 1 little ounce of love? Like, I've had a personal exchange with 4 of 7, but they couldn't even acknowledge what a fucking cool thing it was. So they don't see me because, you know why? I don't know. I guess I think that they've done remarkable things. I see things and I'm like, oh, they're remarkable in this capacity. I see that. I appreciate that. I might not agree with them in this area, that area, but we're not going to focus on we're going to accentuate on the positives and not on the negatives. And, well, I guess I could do that, but I guess they can't. Cause I got Chiron in Aries, so I might as well be walking around like my mirror, like ain't nobody sees me. All they do is see themselves. So that's why I dress funny. That's why I'm a clown because ain't nobody see me no way. No how. It's funny like that. I dig it. Anyway, I'm tired. Mom's gonna get up soon. I'm gonna get quiet for a few minutes before I start my day. So if you hung out, that's rad. Maybe you're a 10 out of 2 out 2 out of 10. I'm a 10 out of 2. I'm not a 2 out of 10. Oh my god. Life is rad. I hope you have a rad day. Peace.